Easy English conversations.
Simple English. Real conversations.
Hey English learners, welcome back to the Easy English Conversations channel, your English podcast for daily life English, real conversations, and easy English listening practice. I'm Alex.
And I'm Emma.
I had this moment this morning, standing in the kitchen, half awake, coffee in one hand, phone in the other, and I felt that weird, quiet pressure.
Like you're already behind before the day even starts?
Exactly. Not because anything happened. Just that feeling of, if I don't use today right, I'm going to regret it later. And it made me think about how a lot of language learners feel. They're not lazy. They're just carrying this constant sense that time is slipping.
And then that turns into guilt, which turns into avoidance, which turns into more guilt.
Yes. So I want to start with a question that's almost uncomfortable. How do you know when you're actually wasting time?
Ooh. Okay, I'll push back a little because people hear wasting time and they think it means doing anything fun or resting or being human.
Good point. So let's define it carefully. Wasting time isn't time that isn't productive. It's time spent on activities that don't help you, things that don't move you toward what you care about, and don't even refill you.
Yeah. It's the unimportant and unhelpful stuff. Like, you finish and you don't feel rested, you don't feel happy, you don't feel closer to your goals. You just feel kind of empty.
That's one of the signs, right there. That empty feeling. Another sign I hear from students is regret, like the moment you close the app or put your phone down and you think, why did I just do that?
Regret and this sneaky extra tiredness. Not normal tired, but that drained feeling, like you spent energy without getting anything back.
So if you're listening and you're thinking, that's me, I want to give a metaphor that really clicked for me. Imagine you wake up every day with a water bottle.
I love this one.
You've got a limited amount of water. That's your time and energy. And you can drink it, meaning you use it for things that actually nourish you, or you can pour it on the floor.
Which sounds dramatic, but it's so accurate. Because pouring it on the floor isn't even enjoyable. It's like scrolling because you're anxious, or bouncing between apps, or watching random videos you don't even care about.
And the cruel part is, the bottle empties either way.
Right. So the goal isn't to become some intense robot who optimizes every second. The goal is to stop pouring so much of your water on the floor.
Especially if you're learning English or any language, because language progress is built from small, consistent moments, not giant, heroic study sessions.
And that's where people get stuck. They think they need 2 hours and perfect focus. If they don't have that, they do nothing. Then they feel worse.
Which is why we're going to talk about tiny plans. But before that, I want to name something that messes with learners. Vague goals.
Oh my gosh, yes. The goal, I want to improve my English, is like saying, I want to go somewhere and then getting in your car.
Thank you. It's the GPS problem. If you don't put in a clear address, you're just driving around burning gas.
And in this case, burning time. People say, I'm going to study English today, and then they open a textbook, then a YouTube video, then they download an app, and an hour later they've done a lot, but nothing specific.
So, let's give people a word for this. When you have a clear address, you're being intentional. When you don't, you're vague. And vague goals make you easier to distract.
Distracted is such a key word here. It's not that you don't care, it's that your attention keeps getting pulled.
And the world is designed to pull it. Which leads us to time thieves.
Time thieves are real. Social media scrolling is the obvious one, but I think phone notifications are the sneaky one. Because you'll be in the middle of doing something good like listening to a short English clip, and then you get one ping.
And suddenly your mind is in 5 places.
And then you're not studying, you're not resting, you're just floating.
So, if we're defining wasting time as unhelpful activity, time thieves are basically the people sneaking into your day and stealing your water.
And you don't even notice until the bottle's half empty.
Here's where I'll challenge listeners a bit. If you keep getting distracted, it's not a character flaw. It's a system problem. Your environment is set up to interrupt you.
I agree, but I also want to add, you can protect your focus. It's not about willpower. It's more like locking a door.
Yes. You don't stand there all day resisting intruders. You lock the door once.
Exactly. You turn off notifications for a few hours. You put your phone in another room for 10 minutes. You decide, this is my learning pocket. And that's a huge shift from fighting distractions to preventing them.
Which connects to another idea we need to say out loud. Rest is not wasting time.
Thank you. I need everyone to hear that. Rest is a productive necessity, especially for language learners, because your brain is literally building connections.
I think people feel guilty resting because it looks like nothing is happening.
But it's like charging your phone. If your phone is at 3%, you don't scream at it. You plug it in.
And your mind has a battery too.
Yes. And when you rest, real rest, not doom scrolling, you're charging the mind. That's not lost time. That's preparation for better work later.
This matters because a lot of learners confuse "I'm not studying" with "I'm wasting time." But sometimes you're not studying because you're exhausted.
And if you ignore that, you end up doing this cycle. You push yourself, you burn out, then you avoid, then you hate the whole process.
So there's a balance piece here.
Balance is everything. It's the difference between sustainability and punishment. And I really want to talk about that punishment mindset because so many learners treat studying like a penalty for not being fluent yet.
Like, I messed up, so now I have to suffer through grammar drills.
Yes. And it doesn't work long term. Learning has to be something you can return to without dread.
Which brings us to invest. I love that word for time. Invest means using time now for future gain. It's not about squeezing every minute. It's about putting small amounts into something that grows.
And when you invest, you don't need huge amounts. You can invest coins.
That's such a good image, time as small coins.
Because people think time only counts if it's a big bill, like a full hour. But a lot of progress comes from coins. 2 minutes while waiting for coffee, 5 minutes on the bus, 10 minutes before bed.
Pocket time.
Yes. Pocket time is those little spaces that already exist in your day. They're not dramatic. They're usually boring moments you'd normally fill with scrolling.
So instead of pouring your water on the floor, you take a few sips.
And it's not about being perfect. It's about building a routine, your normal order of events where English shows up regularly, in a way that doesn't overwhelm you.
Okay, let's make this concrete. If someone says, "I never have time," what do you ask them?
I ask, where do you already have pockets? Waiting for the bus, standing in line, walking somewhere, washing dishes, and then what could fit there that's actually doable?
Like reviewing words, or listening to a short podcast clip.
Or even one song lyric. Connect to music and lyrics. People underestimate how powerful that is. You learn rhythm, pronunciation, phrases people actually use.
And watching shows with subtitles, another great one.
Yes, but with intention. Like, pick one scene, not 5 episodes. Otherwise, it turns into, guess what?
Wasted time.
Exactly. The difference is the plan. If you're intentional, it's learning. If you're vague, it's just entertainment that you feel guilty about later.
So we've got a few building blocks now. Know the signs of wasted time, spot the time thieves, protect your focus, respect rest as charging your mental battery, and start seeing time as coins you can invest.
And we still haven't even gotten to the heart of it, which is how to make a tiny plan that you'll actually keep.
Let's go there next, because I want to help listeners move from "I should study" to "here's exactly what I'm doing today." Emma, if someone can only promise themselves 10 minutes a day, what's the first tiny plan you'd have them make?
Yes, because 10 minutes of English is still vague. That's just a smaller version of the same problem.
I love that question because 10 minutes sounds small, but it's actually powerful if it's clear. So if someone says, "I can do 10 minutes," my next question is always, 10 minutes doing what exactly?
That last one is huge. Permission to stop keeps the plan gentle instead of threatening.
Right. So a tiny plan has 3 parts. First, one specific action. Second, a clear time or trigger. Third, permission to stop.
Okay, instead of "I'll study vocabulary," it's "After dinner, I'll review 5 words from yesterday for 10 minutes. That's it. Not new words, not everything, just 5.
So give me an example.
You stop. If you want to continue, great, but it's a bonus, not a requirement.
And if 10 minutes passes?
Exactly. The brain hears, "You must do this for a long time," and it panics. But just 10 minutes feels safe.
That removes the pressure. Because pressure is one of the biggest reasons people avoid starting.
No. Confidence comes from keeping promises to yourself. Small promises.
I want to tie this back to confidence. Because people think confidence comes from big wins. It doesn't.
And that's huge for language learners, especially if they've failed at big plans before. Tiny plans rebuild trust.
So every time you complete that tiny plan, you're teaching your brain, "I do what I say I'll do."
Yes. Pocket time is where tiny plans shine. You're not rearranging your whole life. You're just using moments that already exist.
Let's talk about pocket time again, because tiny plans fit perfectly there.
Or brushing your teeth. Or walking to the bus. And here's the key. Pocket time works best with low-friction activities.
Like waiting for coffee.
Things that are easy to start. Listening, repeating, reviewing, not heavy grammar analysis. Pocket time is for light touches.
Meaning?
And then you'll tell yourself, "See, I can't stick to anything." Which isn't true, it was just the wrong match.
That's important. Because if you try to do something mentally heavy in a tiny pocket, you'll resist it.
Exactly. And we make it enjoyable. Learning has to be fun, not childish fun, but emotionally rewarding.
So we match the activity to the moment.
I disagree. Learning can be challenging and still enjoyable. Fun doesn't mean easy. It means engaging.
This is where I sometimes get pushback. People say, learning isn't supposed to be fun. It's work.
If you connect learning to things you already like, music, shows, stories, it stops feeling like punishment. For example, if you love music, lyrics are gold.
Say more about that.
And emotion helps memory. You remember words better when they're attached to a feeling or a story.
Because you hear repetition naturally.
Yes, but again, intentionally. Choose one short scene. Watch it once with subtitles, once without. That's learning. Watching 3 episodes while half asleep is not.
Same with shows and subtitles.
It's all about awareness. Ask yourself after, do I feel more confident, more connected to the language? If not, it might have crossed into wasted time.
And that brings us back to time thieves. Because the line between fun learning and time theft can be thin.
Absolutely. It's not that social media is evil. It's that it steals time quietly. 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, and suddenly your pocket time is gone.
Social media is the classic thief, but I think the deeper issue is unconscious use.
And protecting it, locking the door, like we said. That might mean putting your phone on airplane mode for 10 minutes.
So one practical move is deciding in advance what gets your best attention.
Yes, that one rule can change everything.
Or deciding, I don't open social apps before my tiny plan.
They free up energy. If English always happens after breakfast, you don't have to negotiate with yourself every day.
I also want to say something about routines. People think routines are boring, but routines actually reduce decision fatigue.
Consistency beats intensity every time, especially with languages.
And routines don't have to be intense. They just have to be consistent.
I'd say this, your time isn't disappearing because you're bad at managing it. It's disappearing because it's leaking in small ways. And small changes, tiny plans, pocket time, protected focus can stop the leaks.
So let's pause and reflect for a second. If someone listening feels overwhelmed right now, what's the one mindset shift you'd want them to take away from this part of the conversation?
And choosing intention over vagueness.
I like that. It's not about doing more. It's about wasting less. Gently.
Exactly. And once you start noticing that, everything shifts.
Which brings us back to where we started using your water to drink, not to pour on the floor.
Totally. Because you can have the best tiny plan in the world, but if your inner voice is harsh, you'll eventually stop showing up.
Let's sit with that for a moment. Because the next step isn't about adding tools, it's about how you talk to yourself while you're building these habits.
That word should is heavy. It turns learning into a moral judgment instead of a process.
Yeah, the self-talk piece. This is where everything either sticks or falls apart.
I love that idea. A good coach doesn't yell every time you miss a shot. They notice effort. They adjust the plan. They keep you in the game.
I hear learners say things like, I'm so bad at this, or I should be way better by now.
You don't say, I failed. You say, okay, what got in the way? That's curiosity, not punishment.
So instead of being your own critic, what if you were your own coach?
Yes. Shame is one of the biggest invisible time thieves. It drains energy and makes restarting harder.
So if you miss a day,
Very. It keeps the routine alive. And routines are how progress compounds.
that shift alone saves so much time because shame wastes time too.
Right. Time as an investment, not a test.
So self-kindness isn't soft. It's practical.
And you don't pull your money out every time the market dips. You stay consistent.
I want to zoom out for a second. We've talked about tiny plans, pocket time, rest, fun, focus. All of this is really about seeing time differently.
And confidence changes how you show up. You start speaking more, you take more risks, you stop waiting to be ready.
When you invest, you don't expect instant returns.
Through tiny victories, like understanding one sentence in a show, or using one new word correctly.
Language learning is exactly like that. Small, daily investments build confidence quietly.
And when you notice them, learning feels lighter, more human.
That's a huge point. People think confidence comes after fluency, but it actually grows alongside it.
Rest feels wrong in a productivity-focused world.
Those moments matter. They're proof that your time is working for you.
Exactly. And then people wonder why they're tired all the time or why nothing sticks.
I want to talk briefly about rest again, because I think some listeners still feel uneasy about it.
Yes. Rest with purpose. Not numbing, not escaping, but actually letting your mind recover.
But if rest is charging your mental battery, then skipping rest is like trying to drive on empty.
Or even sleep. Sleep is hugely underrated for language learning.
So intentional rest, real rest, is part of the plan.
It's about choosing moments, protecting them, enjoying them.
That could be a walk. Music. Silence.
Guilt doesn't help you learn. Curiosity does.
So if we bring this all together, it's not about squeezing English into every second of your life.
Choose one tiny goal. Decide when you'll do it. Make it enjoyable. And then stop when the time is up.
And letting go of the rest without guilt.
Yes. That feeling calm, satisfied, maybe even proud, that's the signal you're on the right path.
If someone listening wanted to start tomorrow, just tomorrow, what's the simplest version of everything we've talked about?
Steady is underrated.
And notice how you feel afterward.
And over weeks and months, steady turns into real ability.
Not exhausted, not guilty, just steady.
And permission to grow slowly.
It really is. Steady beats dramatic every time.
That their time matters even in small pieces. Especially in small pieces.
I think that's the quiet promise here. You don't need more hours. You need kinder systems.
What about you?
Before we wrap up, is there one thing you wish every language learner truly believed?
That's such a good note to end on.
I love that.
Just choose one sip from the bottle today.
That wasting time isn't about being bad. It's about being unaware. And awareness is learnable.
Thanks for spending this time with us.
If you're listening and you've felt behind, scattered, or frustrated, take a breath. You don't need to fix everything. We'll leave it there. See you next time.